Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good
Waalaikumsalam.
afternoon and very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, thank you to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala who has given us mercies and blessing today. Salat and salam we always deliver to our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and his companion and his ummahs following him. And today I would like to express my thanks and appreciation to our respected guest, Dr. Hussein Ergun, and all the audiences that has been attending this very important events. Yeah. I saw that there are some lecturers, also Dr. Hussein from other universities. We have Dr. Arif here from University Hamka, and also some friends, my students from Universitas Muhammadiyah Jakarta. And I saw also some students perhaps from other universities that we have already shared the informations. And dear students, we are so glad and blessed to have Dr. Hussein right now. By the way, he is right now the head of the Islamic economics programs at KTO University Turkey, KTO Karata University Turkey. And Dr. Hussein is very expert and concerned in the area of Islamic economics and finance. And right now, he is willing to share his thought and humble knowledge in the area of marketplace in the perspective of Islam during the Madinah times. And I guess it's very interesting discussion and topic given that the current situation around us, we are having so many markets, either the real market and virtual markets. So by listening to his explanation, hopefully we can get some ideas and insightful ideas on actually how the marketplace was governed during the Madinah times. And also what will be the lesson that can be taken by all of us in the current marketplace that has been developing quite tremendously. So without ado, I'd like to let Dr. Hussein to share your thought. Perhaps Dr. Hussein, we will give you around maybe maximum 40 minutes or 45 minutes, Dr. Hussein. So after
Yes.
that, we can continue with the Q&A sessions, yeah, and we will end, inshallah, around 1:30 p.m. Turkish time or 5:30 p.m. Jakarta times, because we are heading to the Maghrib prayer here, doctors, at 5:30.
Inshallah,
Okay,
inshallah,
doctors, time
inshallah.
is yours, doctor, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Dimas. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Dr. Dimas, Dr. Arif, and the other participants, for Indonesian friends and students, thank you very much for participating in this fruitful event. I am glad to be here with you, and I'm honored to be giving this speech with you. Because as Dr. Dimas mentioned, it's very important, I think, for Islamic economics and finance studies to understand the marketplaces. What are the markets, what we are doing, and how did Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam advise us establishing a market? Because if you have a strong market, you have a strong economy, you have strong political issues, and you will be stronger. It's very important for establishing the market. Today, I'll try to discuss what is the worldview of Islamic perspective, what is the worldview of Islamic economics, and how did Prophet Muhammad comes to Medina for after Hijrah, and what did he do, and what he advised us. It's very important. I have a presentation, as Dr. Dimas told, it will be take nearly 45 minutes. But if you have questions during the presentation, please don't hesitate to ask questions. It will be fruitful. We will make a connection and networking this time. Inshallah, we will start. I'll share my screen now. First of all, I think you can see my screen now. Dr. Dimas?
Yes, carry on, doctor. Very clear.
Yes, that's great. First of all, I will give you a brief information about my university, because it's still related to the Medina Bazaar and the other things, because our university name is KTO Karata University. As you see from the graph, we have been established as a madrasa. during the Seljuk state. It will be 12, it was 1251. Why it's very important? Because during the Seljuk era and Anatolia, the madrasa culture is very important during the education, but not still just education, for socialization, politicization, and economic issues. Not just the scientific sciences are the, on the other hand, nakliye, ilmi nakliye is still in the madrasa. Still ilmi akliye and ilmi nakliye together in the madrasa. So it's a new, very important culture to understand what the fitra, the human being, and Allah asks from us because of on scientific side and ilmi sides in the madrasa. It's very important culture. During the 1251, the madrasa established, but it had continued education for about 7 centuries. During the World War One, it has been closed. But in 2009, Konya Chamber of Commerce has reopened our university, not as a madrasa, as a university. That's why we have a very important mission and very important structure as a university. That's why we are dealing and keeping Islamic economics and finance in Turkey. Doctor, as my friends and Dr. Dimas knows, Islamic economics and finance education has been started in Turkey for the undergraduate level first time in our university, because we have a mission to understand and to tell and to teach what Islam wants from us. As you see from the graph, our university has been established in 1251 and Konya Chamber of Commerce established in 1882. And our university reopened. I'm not telling opened, reopened in 2009. It's really very important. So in 2016, we have opened Islamic Economics and Finance Department, and our first lectures always, Dr. Dimas, we gave Medina Bazaar on the first hand, because if you understand the bazaar and the market structure of Islam, after that you can understand the capital markets, you can understand the other things, other Islamic economic and financial issues. As you know, during the 1970s, the financialization of the world is going so harder. And we have lots of crises, lots of problems, lots of problematic issues for the mainstream neoclassic economic aspect. So I think there is a need to understand, is there an alternative economic model for the world? In my presentation, as you see, I'll try to discuss about why there is a need for an alternative economic and financial system, what are the worldviews of various economic systems, especially for the capitalist and socialist one, what about in marketplaces, and also it's very important, bazaar of Medina or the Medina city market, you can say, and the early marketplaces. After then, we will discuss about the questions and answers. It will be, I think, very important. Why we are talking about these new alternative systems? Because, as you see, there is a global economic system more about 400 years or 350 years, and capitalist system or the neoclassic economic model is going on and all around the world. And these model bringing volatility in the global crisis. As you can mention, in 1998 from an Asian states, and there was a monetary crisis, and as we see in 2008 and 9, we had subprime crisis. Before this crisis, in 1929, we had a Great Depression all over the world, and we see this system and this model, this hegemon model brings crisis all over the world. For example, we have turbulent times, such as global financial crisis. As you see in 2008 and 9 subprime crisis, the investigations, the scholars have known lots of things about neoclassic economic models, but nobody can stop the crisis. Why? Because it's not an asset-backed one. So lots of credits, lots of debts, lots of problems all around the world. And for example, I got a note, Dr. Professor Mohammed Aslam Hanif in a presentation tells about it. It's very interesting, I think. because there is some briefings from the academic sides in the London School of Economics, and the Queen, they are making a presentation to the Queen, and they are asking what's happening. There's lots of crises all over the world, and Queen asked, why did nobody notice it? Because there was two mainstream and two main points for this issue. First, the reason was economic, because there's high levels of debt. Everybody can take easily credits. They can easily reach the credits. They are taking all financial issues. Remember that before 1970s, the financialization just for the banks and banking institutions. But after 1970s, financialization come to the still for the individuals, for the homes, for the families. For everybody can take credits, can take loans, can take uh, derivative issues and lots of financial issues. So it brings more crises, more problems. If they cannot give the debts, they cannot redeem the debts, it will bring more crises. This was the economic problem, but there was another very important problem and reason. It was a non-economic one. What was it? It was a worldview. Worldview of neoclassic economy, worldview of socialist economy, worldview of capitalist economy, and the others. We can say vision, ideology, underlining mainstream economic models. If you have an ideology and worldview, you can easily connect and easily correct what you are doing. For example, I have two pictures here, and I have to ask to our friends and students what you see. What's the difference between these pictures? One of them on the left-hand side picture from the free market economy from United States. The second one comes from a socialist system, Socialist Republic of Soviet Union during the Great Depression time, 1929. If somebody wants to make a comment for these pictures, I can wait, because it's interesting for me. I think it's interesting for all Islamic economics students. One side, you will see on the left-hand side, for children for sale. Dr. Dimas, this is really a free market economy, because there was a Great Depression. They are trying to sell everything, and free market. In free market economy, you can sell anything you want, because the greed of man is very important. This is a very hard poverty during this crisis, and the free market economy, mommy, a mother, it's very bad thing. She couldn't do anything, and she's selling his kids still. On the right-hand side, you will see a non-market economy. It's a Soviet socialist economy. There is no market. State owned everything, and state gives everything. This is for bread. They're trying to take bread, but not, they cannot buy it from the free market. They only give from the state-owned companies or state-owned office. During 1960s, 1960s is very important, because Islamic economics and financial studies have been started in 1960s. Why it's too late from this date? Because in 1960s, there was a very independence of the Islamic states. For example, Pakistan and the Middle Eastern countries and Malaysia and the other countries get their independence. So they have to think about what we can do, what can Islamic models can do. And then they have to study for these issues in 1960s, and they have two options. One comes from the West side. This is a free market economy, and neoclassic one, and the capitalist one. The second one comes from Soviet Union. It's a socialist and Eastern one. But both of them is not perfect models. But Islam brings a perfect model. So some countries, such as Pakistan and the other Middle Eastern countries, try to take in socialist Islamic, democratic Islamic models, and the other side, free market economy, and they have to enhance these models. But still, the perfect model we have in our creation, in our Quran, in our Sunnah, you know, from the Adil Sharia, we have the best model, but we have to try to develop this model together, because not to see these pictures again. I think it's really important. It's very important from my side. When we go, what neoclassical economy and the mainstream economic model brings? First of all, the belief that all the neoclassic model, the theories cannot be wrong. Because as you know, from the Adam Smith and the other classic, neoclassic thinkers of thought, they say there's a laissez-faire and there's an invisible hand regulating the market. So it can be regulated by an outside impact. The assumption, there's an assumption that market will solve everything. But we see in 1998 in Asian part of the world and in 2008, market cannot solve everything. So there wasn't another thing. But a neoclassic one also accept that man's greed is a good trait. Because as you know, we have a great debate from idealism and realism. These two ideologies brings man's greed. One of them, idealist one is the correct one, the rational one. The other and realist one says man's greed is not very good, so we have to control with the state and hard power. But the neoclassic economic model always thinks man's greed is a good trait in economics and finance. Man always choose the best way. Man, the human always choose the best way. Human choose always the rational way. But as we see from the previous bad examples for the crisis, for the other problems, as in 2008 and 9 and 1998 and the 1929, man's greed doesn't a good trait, because human wants more and more every time. But in economic models, we don't have a scarcity of the resources. We have lots of man's greed, and also the neoclassic economic models always ethically transfer the risk in order to maximize the gains. But in Islamic model, sharing the risk is more important than transferring the risk. If you transfer risk everything, so two sides, both sides will be lost, and man's greed coming to the power again. So not transferring risk, sharing the risks, and we will see in the Medina market. For example, we will go on from the neoclassic one, a worldview of the Islamic economies. For example, Joseph Schumpeter is very important economist and economic analysis and institutional neo-Keynesian economist. In the book of History of Economic Analysis in 1954, analytic efforts and necessity preceded by analytic cognitive act, it's called vision. So, my friends, Islamic economics and finance and Islamic economic roots has a vision of being a part of Islamic way of life. Also termed a worldview or even ideology. Implication is that modern economics and finance is not. I'm sorry, is there a question? Oh, I think it's not.
Carry on, Doctor.
Okay, if you, friends have questions, I will interfere it. The modern economics and finance is not value. Joseph Schumpeter. So there isn't a value. What's the value behind of neoclassic or socialist one? Because of the worldview. What's the worldview? Worldview brings from the human geography, religion, analytic thinking, and language, and the culture, and the other things. If you have these different from the Islamic side, then it's not suitable for the Ummah. It's not suitable for the Islamic states. If we try to do an equal, trustworthy economic model, we have to think about it. What are our values? What we have to do while we are doing a new system? Ours, therefore, our worldview. Many of the assumptions made in economics may not be true and probably not universal. For example, John Stuart Mill says this: these economic models may not be true sometimes and not universal. But what we did for about 300 and 400 years, we just accept what the theoretical one of neoclassical economy accepted. For example, our friends and our lecturers, our professors always said us in universities, we are taking economic courses, we are taking micro and macroeconomic courses, but we are learning the same theories all over the world. Inflation raises, supply and demand theories, equilibrium, because of the scarcity of the resources, we have unrestricted demands of the human, the same things all around the world. This is the neoclassic mainstream economic model. But as John Stuart Mill says, may not probably universal. So we have to think about what our values are. For example, in neoclassical economy, you cannot find the concept of barakah. You cannot concept of zakah. You cannot find the other concepts. But in our religion and our term of economic model, we say lots of differences. So we have to bring these differences together with the knowledge. So it's very important. For example, we are making an exchange programs for Indonesian friends in Turkey. It's very important because our friends are seeing what is going on in Turkey. And also our Turkish friends will see what's going on in Indonesia. So we have to make a cooperation together with the Islamic countries. If we make this like this, after that we will succeed during an increasing a new economic model. Also, economists made different opinions because they have different sources. For example, Adam Smith, during the mercantilist era, Adam Smith wrote down a book, it's well known, Wealth of Nations. He just analyzed the problem of mercantilism to the liberal issues. But we have Ibn Khaldun, Imam Ghazali, and the other great thinkers. We have to keep what is going on from the Islamic side also. So there's a question. What is the difference between conventional economic system and Islamic one? What is the main difference? Is there any friend you want to say something or any comment? You know, Dr. Dimas, while we are making the lectures and the courses inside of the university and offline, we will see the faces of the students and it will be more exciting.
Yes, interesting.
Sometimes
yes.
It will be interesting.
Yes, doctor. Yeah, therefore, in our university right now, doctor, by the way, we don't we give the high wage for the offline mode, doctor, compared to the online, because somehow the student did not understand in the offline. So how come the online will be so interesting then? So wait, this is the wrong way. The offline is not is better, and student cannot understand somehow. Moreover, we conducting more online, so it makes students do not fully understood deeply on that. So therefore, I do agree with you. We should come up with the offline mode compared to online. Therefore, you need to come to Indonesia for the offline mode next year or this year.
I think next year we have to make this program and make these courses offline in Indonesia, and also we are inviting you to Turkey to make this increase this cooperation. It will be more better, and also I am inviting our friends for this exchange program, because after the presentation, I will give some brief information about our students from UMI University, Muhammadiya in Yogyakarta, but I am bringing it after my presentation. It will be more interesting, I think. Okay, then, I'll go on what is the difference between the systems. For example, this is a basket. We are bringing a basket. This basket brings our worldview. What we can add this basket. Okay, I take three of these inside. Education, culture, and religion is very important. But what else? It's not just religion, education, and culture. We can also add geography here, language here, history here. So our worldview goes around and getting a huge thing. So if you have a worldview, you have to establish your vision, After you establish your vision, you have to determine your new rules about an economic and financial and the other issues, not economic and finance, social and political issues also. You can bring lots of things in this basket, as I thought, not education, religion, culture only. Also, you can add geography, language, history, family, culture, and the other things. The world your perspective generates and shapes with what you believe. Differences in assumptions made about man, the universe, the economic agent, the assumptions underlying economic models and theories stem from our worldview. So, how we increase our worldview? Why this presentation I think is so important? Because we are trying to establish markets, and I have some personal experiences from United States and European side. I will tell you that if you understand the assumptions of your religion, assumptions of your culture, assumptions of your history, assumptions of your language, assumptions of your geography, you will establish a strong and powerful worldview. More than just interpretive lens, the worldview perspective shapes, influences, and generally directs person's entire life. If you take decisions and actions, your worldview and your values and your vision will implicate these decisions. For example, Montgomery Watt, which is very important, what's Islam? In his book, he determined Islam as a whole way of life. You say, covers. What Islam covers? Covers both the private and public societal lives of a man, permeates the whole fabric of society, includes theological dogma, forms of worship, political theory. You see, political theory, a detailed code of conduct in matters which European would classify hygiene, ethics, the other things. So Islam brings everything together. But what about other religions? I'm just taking from the Montgomery Watt in 1979, means always spending an hour or so on Sunday in practice, which give him some support and strength dealing with the problems of daily life. So the others, the other religions, the other belief systems, the other values brings out their religion and belief system outside of the economy. We say in positivism and the other things, for example, in 19th century positivism and the Auguste Comte, the other thinkers is very important. They are taking all beliefs and all vision inside of the science and giving just determine with the measurable things. But in Islam, the whole way of life. Then what we have, Islam represents an integrating and holistic worldview, covering various aspects of human living, economic activity, political behavior, and educational development. It's development, I'm sorry, but still ibadat and muamala, who says, and all this Islamic worldview represented by Sharia. And how we establish this Sharia and what Sharia and Sharia governance ask from us. You see, it's a very basic, but I want to tell here at the last of this section. After that, I'll go to the for Medina Bazaar and the elements of Medina Bazaar. But in Islamic economics, the very important and the many important thing is Tawheed issue, because Tawheed is directly bring power from the Allah side, the God side. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings human into the world and creates it and give a very important role. What is the role? The role of human being to inside of the world being a Khalifa. How we can be an Khalifa for God, how we can be a representative of Allah in this world, it's very important. As Professor Nasser says, without being an Abdullah, without being a slave of Allah, it is not possible to be an Khalifa. It's possible, but it's very dangerous. So, first of all, we have to take Tawheed issue inside in the first place. If we believe and directly from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's example and the Quranic word, Quran side, if you understand what is Islam, we can understand Tawheed. And then we will see the others. For example, it will be asset basis, risk sharing, not transferring as an economic economy, haram, qorar, riba, maisir, norms and ethics. These are important. But if you understand the Tawheed issue in the first hand, after then you will take on social responsibility, social equivalence, social accountability. It brings with Tawheed issues also. If we understand Tawheed and the other fundamentals of Islam, we will see what Prophet Muhammad did during his after his hijrah and during his era, because Islam has been started as a big state. Prophet Muhammad brings all Muslims and forced Muslims from Mecca to Medina and establish a political strong state. After that, you will see from this map is, I think, very important. For example, you will see the pink one during the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Islam brings here in Mecca and Medina, in the Hijaz. After then, they take Khaybar, Bahrain, Oman, Yemen. These sides will be Islam. But during the Amir al-Mu'minin, for Khalifa Abu Bakr, Osman, Umar, and Ali radiallahu anhuma, it brings to the east and to the west and to the east side till the European side in Andalus. You see Iberia from Spain to other side from Eastern Asia, all over the world. Islam brings. How they bring this Islamic worldview and Islamic life to the other countries? Because of trade. You see, when I've making a trip to the China, you see in Guangzhou, I want to pray, and I think it was on Zohar time. I want to pray Zohar time, and I asked one of my friends if there is a masjid in here. He says, yes, there is a good masjid there. I don't remember the name, but there was a good masjid there. And I see a tomb of a very important, I'm sorry. Why did I do like this? Now you can see my screen, I think, still, because I have a small problem. Okay, I had a tomb, Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas. I asked, how come the Sahabi of Prophet Muhammad comes to China? They says he was a great trader, a merchant. After Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he comes to China and the other places, they make trade. But during they making these trade issues, they tell the people and they feel the people how a Muslim trader we have to be. So if you see a good trader, they'll ask, oh, how you can make this thing and how you discuss Islamic way. It's very important. Before coming to the Medina Bazaar, I want to give some brief information about Mecca traders and Meccan side. It's very important. I think most of you or all of you knows, I'm sorry, I don't know. Okay. In Quran, there is a Surah Al-Quraysh. I think most of you know. Sounds billah. لإيلاف قريش إيلافهم رحلة الشتاء والصيف فليعبدوا رب هذا البيت الذي أطعمهم من جوع وآمنهم من خوف. What this verse and surah says, there was an ilaf, there was an agreement between, before Islam, there was an agreement between the tribes, because there are many poverty there, because in Mecca and Medina, not in Medina, but in Mecca side and Taif side, there's lots of big mountains, there's lack of agriculture, there's lack of sources. It's not very easy to survive there. But during this era, for example, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam grandfather Hashim ibn Manaf and some other Quraysh leaders, they have make trade security agreements. They called it ilaf, as the Quran says, ilaf Quraysh. Quraysh make these ilafs, the agreements. What is the agreement for? Because during the before the Prophet Muhammad before Islam, there was an itifat problem. What is itifat? The remedy solution, the itifat, suicide due to poverty. If they don't have money or they cannot survive their life, they are making suicide to each other. But Hashim ibn Manaf to solve this problem, to taking together all the tribes and making ilaf. That's why in Quran, ilaf Quraysh ilafim rukhlete shita'i was sayf. On summertime and wintertime, they are taking caravans to the Yemen and Syria, and they're making lots of trades. So we can say during the before the Prophet Muhammad's era, before Islam, Mecca and Hijaz region was very trade was very important in these regions. Trade and trade issues very important. They're making trade agreements, they're making mudaraba agreements, they're making musharaka agreements, and they are very good traders and merchants. So also Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a good merchant and trader. They are making agreements with Hazrat Khadija and the others, as you know. So Islam brings his economic roots from trade, we can say. And you will see 6 specifications of Arabian people. It's not very before Islam. For example, nationalism, hospitality, infestation, courage, durability, and individualism was the main characteristics of Meccan traders. For example, they are very nationalist, tribalist. They wants to make the big their tribes and nations. They are still hospitality. They have their lack of economic resources, so infestation. They are very corrigible, contention. They are durability because of the climate, and individualism is very high. These are before Islam, and during the during the Meccan traders, they have caravans to the south and north. As I told you from the Surah Al-Quraysh, they have caravans to the south and north. One in the summer in the Yemen side, and the winter is the Syrian side. They are making these caravans. And they have 3 aspects. Before Islam, I'm underlying it. They have need for finance because they are making big trades, international trades. They are going to Syria, they are going to Baghdad, they are going to other Kufa and the other cities in Middle East. They have need for finance. One. The second one, the emergence of saraf, because loans is very important. The third one, insurance. Finance is generally based on partnership or loan based. If they're making a partnership agreement, it was a mudaraba or musharaka agreements. And if it's loan based, they're bringing sarafs and getting lots, some loans and debts from sarafs. Special agreements were made for the funding caravans, and scope hidden open partner risk, etc., was clearly stated in the agreement. Because think about it, we are dealing with 500, 400 or 500 years, more than 15 centuries. So it's not very secure to take the caravans. There are lots of risks that going tribes, and this is deserts, some bribes and the other thieves, lots of problems. So they have making special agreements. And also it's very important that the agreements limited the duration of the caravans. New partners can be included with the new caravan, others can continue if they wish. Money paid from the powerful tribes along the way. It's very important because they are giving some money while they are making this caravan and this way. They have to give some money to other tribes, to other villages, because they have to secure it. So they have a solution. It was an insurance one. They are making Akile or the other Tekaful operators. Before Islam, I am still dealing. The second one, the emergence of the sarrafs, because there was if you are making partnership, you have lots of risk. If you don't want to take risk, you are taking some loans. It was remedied by sarrafs. Also, you know, Mecca is very important place because they are making trade and pilgrimage still important before Islam. And pilgrimage and the other tribes are visiting Mecca. It was the sarrafs and the people dealing with money is very, very, very strong there. If the debtor doesn't pay his debt on time, but the additional payment will make his debt will be postponed. This is the riba, you know, this is the riba and jahiliyyah. The maturity of payment could carry an element of financial penalty, which could be turned an increase. It was called yarbu, as we say, it's riba. And also Quran and Islam forbids this. So we have two models. If you can get debt and loans from the sarrafs and the other money men. Second one, establishing partnership. Islam brings partnership, it's okay, but debt and riba side is prohibited with Islam. The third one is the insurance one, because it's still important. As I said, there's lots of risk. The Arabs used insurance to minimize or even zero the risk of encountering trade. Caravans were passing through dangerous areas, loss of life and property occurred. Loss of property was covered by the collected funds. They are taking funds from the participants of the caravans, and then they are covering the problems. Caravan, maybe sometimes caravan lost in desert. What can they do? They are taking the insurance funds and they are giving the money to the lost ones. The pre-Islamic Arab insurance required a very advanced level of organization, rights, and obligations for its age. When we say, my friends, ladies and gentlemen, when we look on the insurance side and the modern economic sides, always neoclassical and mainstream economic model says insurance has been arise from European side. The other financial institutions, sarrafs, and the other banks are still bring from neoclassical and mainstream sides, Europe, America, and the other place, not America, but Europe. But if we take our history very carefully, you can see that these all economic models bring power from our culture, our religion, our society. Because when I was reading a history of Ottoman Empire, I see that waqfs, foundations, waqfs, money waqfs, the others are very basic and very strong models for financing. But we lost this tradition. We just try to copy the tradition of neoclassic mainstream economic model. That's why we are not taking very strong in these economic models, I think. What is hijrah? As you know, these are the trade issues before Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Not before, but before Islam, we can say. But Islam brings to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and have some problems in the Mecca era. In Mecca, you know, there's lots of torture to the Islamic people, and they cannot make their muamalat or ibadat easily. So Prophet Muhammad says they will change their city, and they have to transfer Mecca to Medina, from Mecca to Medina, and we call it hijrah. What's hijrah? Hijrah denotes the migration of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his followers, Sahabi, from Mecca to Medina, in a search of better setting for propagandation and realization of Islamic message. Because Islam has a message. Islam not just a religion for ibadah, for Islam a holistic way. Islam has a message for our family relations, for our trade relations, for our economic relations, for our financial relations, for our everything. So Islam has a big message. Prophet Muhammad and the Sahabi goes to the Medina because they helped to establish these rules and settle this Islamic way of life to all the world. At the time of the Hijrah, the ongoing revelation of the Islam was already about 13 years. It was in 13 years. And Muslims were yet to set up a free and autonomous state of their own. Once the city of Medina, as we call it Yesrib before Medina, this name of the city was Yesrib, but we call Medina. It Muslim inhabitants wholeheartedly welcomed to new religion, so fiercely disapproved by the many where it had originated. In Mecca, the wait finally came to an end and stage was set for broadening the focus of your community's undertakings. My friends, don't keep on mind that in Medina, the Jews and the polytheists are on the majority during Hijrah. So you can say the rules has been established by the Jews and the polytheists in the Medina. We are going, Prophet Muhammad and the other Muslims are going a new place and setting a new state. It's very important. With the migration of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to Medina, the first foundation of Islamic State was laid. This is the first step. This is the first step to establish an Islamic State. But please underline these words. If I can do it like this from here, I'll try to do it from here still. The basic requirement being a politically strong state is to be economically sound. This is very important because the current Medina market was under the control of polytheists and Jews. Merchants. Their commercial activities were based either on their own religious understanding, as I told you from my previous presentation, worldview or the vision of their understanding, or and the traditions of ignorance. How we can jahiliyyah. We say jahiliyyah. And the most important feature of the marketplace chosen by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it's very important. It was in a cemetery in the Beni Saida district. The fact that the first marketplace in the cemetery, the reason for that is to remind traders, merchants, the people who are buying and selling something, that will be accounted for all their deeds on the world hereafter. This is a controlling issue, constant moral control. It's believed that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I'm sorry, I'll take this. It's believed that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam aimed to keep buyers and sellers under an internal constant moral control. It's, I think, still very important. What did Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam do after Hijrah? This seventh step, I think, is very important. I am making some investigation about these steps, and I found it. First, as I've told you from the previous issues, Tawheed issue is very important. Then, first, in Medina, Prophet Muhammad and his friends make a masjid first. But the masjid not just for ibadah, also socializing for the Muslims, political issues, and then they're taking decisions there, they're taking economic decisions. The masjid is the first thing, and the social accountability of the Islamic State has been established with this masjid issue. The second one, accommodation, because social responsibility, حفظ النفس, حفظ العقل, حفظ الجان. You know, these are maqasid al-sharia. They have to keep that families, keep nafs secure. So accommodation for who? Because there was Ansar and Muhajiran in the Medina. What is Muhajiran? Muhajirs comes, the Sahabi, the friends of Prophet, comes from Mecca. The Ansar, the inhabitants of the Yazrib and Medina. The third one, please take care, it's very important, education. They established the school, Ashab al-Sufa. This is a social responsibility, because as we will see from the sayings of the Hazrat Umar ibn Khattab, they says, if you don't know the regulations and the rules of our market, don't do trade in our markets. Learning, educating, knowing the way of trade is very important in Islam. For example, during our researches from the Ottoman Empire and Seljuk state era, there Futuvetname and Akhiyan, there was institutions like Akhiyan. If you want to open a store, for example, grocery, you cannot open grocery without getting education how to trade on groceries. It's very important. So you'll see it in the Medina Hijrah and the Medina state. Education is very important. The fourth one is the brotherhood, muahad or ukhuwat. You can understand from Islamic financial term, ukhuwat, because Ansar and Muhajiran comes together. The fifth one, the statement of Medina, Wasaiq al-Medina. There was 47 items regulating the relationship between Medina, Jews, and the polytheists and the Islam. Because statements and making agreements is very important in the way of Islamic life. If you are writing down, you will not forget. If you are telling, you can forget everything. So it's very important to write down. You know, the Surah Al-Wars and Baqarah 272, it's very long verse. It takes all the trade and advises us write down what we are doing. The sixth one is the army. Strong army is very important, but the seventh and the most important one, the market. Whoever sets up the market makes the rules. Don't forget, friends. If your vision, your worldview, your ideology, and your belief system establish and sets up the market, then you can set up the rules. But if another ideology or worldview or the system sets up the market, you cannot set up the rules. You have to obey the rules. And Islamic side, Prophet Muhammad brings in Medina, establishes his market, and sets the rules, make the rules. So they started the way of Islamic law. For example, in my lectures or courses, I am telling you one example for this issue. If you want to open a marketplace, an exchange maybe, you want to open an exchange, if you have opened this exchange or market or store, you set up the rules. How can you get a person inside? How can you make trade? How can you get that? How can you give the loan or borrow or cash and supply and demand? All the issues. You can set up the rules. But if you start working another market, you cannot set up the rules. You cannot set up you just have to obey. This is very important. So Prophet Muhammad didn't obey the rules of Jews or the polytheists, other markets. He set up his own market in Medina. What is the necessities for this market? First, keep in mind that as a real fact, because he established the market on a cemetery and keeping that and the hereafter and the aftergoing and akhirah on the mind. Second, laying a solid faith and regarding Tawheed issue. Tawheed was a very important issue, as I told. The third one, deep learning the commercial law, fiqh al-mu'amalat. As I told you, Hazrat Umar bin Khattab says, if you don't know the rules of our market, don't make trade in our markets. And also Hazrat Ali and Hazrat Abu Bakr and the other Khulafa Rashidi, Hazrat Osman says this rule. They send letters to all governors to the other cities and says, whoever doesn't know the rules of Islam and fiqh al-mu'amalat in commercial law, don't let them trade in our markets. So it's very important. Why we are opening and why we are giving Islamic economics and finance lectures and courses and departments, because we have to teach, we have to thought, we have to think about what Islam asks from us and what we can do and how we can develop this Islamic way of life. Third one is obtaining the right and loyalty for trade for the sake of Allah. It's very important. For example, in a verse in Quran says, "Man yaqdullaha qardan hasana." Who can borrow Allah qarz hasan? How we can give qarz hasan to Allah? It's possible. It's not possible because Allah Subhanahu wa Taala is the highest and the biggest authority. You cannot borrow or lend something for the world. But if you are making for sake of Allah, your trade, your way of living, your qarz hasan and borrowing and lending the other things, so you can bring his benefits and his rahmah, his barakah in your trade. That's why it's very important. And this is one of some of the oldest pictures, but it's not a real picture. It's a drawing, I think, and from Medina Bazaar. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam put a tent in Baqi al-Zubayr and said, this is your market. This is the first years of the Hijrah, and came up and entered inside and cut this rope. Indeed, Aisha, you can see Kister's The Market of Prophet in 1965. It's a short article about a very important article from the market of Prophet. He says, the place chosen by the Prophet when inside and serves the cemetery. It's important and established on the market of by Prophet a short time after his arrival in Medina seems to be of some importance. There is no indication or intention of the Prophet, but the principle established of new market without taxes may imply the Prophet's intended to adopt the practice of the market. Because there was lots of markets in the Medina. And friends, the main tradition in the markets, they are getting taxes, market taxes, first hand. For example, I give an example. If you try to open a booth or slot in the market, you have to give a market tax to the market authority, and then you start trade. But Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said that no market taxes in Medina market. Why? Because first, he wants his market very attractive, and the second, he don't want to interfere the prices. If you are taking high taxes, you have to add value to your trade and new prices. It will be sort of dangerous for market economy and equilibrium. If you are giving more additional value to the taxes or the other things, it will be not very compatible. So what we have 8 main issues in market Medina Bazaar. I think, Dr. Dimas, we have time for this because I have 10 or 15 minutes to finish.
Yes, carry on, doctor. Please carry on.
Thank you very much.
Continue, please.
We have 8 very important issues on the Medina market. I'm trying to make it in a modern way and not very traditional names. I try to take the modern names for this because you can understand. For example, tax regulations. What we have in this time in modern age, modern era, we have still tax regulations. Second, market making. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ doesn't interfere the prices. He doesn't allow nar in the market, interfering the prices. He says, if some Sahabi comes to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and says, the Prophet, the prices are going very volatile and very high. Please make and interfere these prices, and we don't take. Prophet says, oh, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala determines the prices. I am not giving any interfere on the market. The free market will continue. So market making issue in modern times, we are making some assets and security backed market making authorities, but in era of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they are not interfering the market issues. The third one is logistic. Logistic issue is very important. For example, during the market time, Medina market time, they are bringing the goods and products to the bazaar and the market with the camels or the animals. So Prophet says, you have to open the roads going to the market 2 ways, and 2 camels can go at the same time. It's very important. And nowadays in modern times, logistic issue. You see from the pandemic era, the prices of logistic and the other shipment costs is very high. Then trade not can be go smoothly. We are giving lots of shippings. Fourth one, effective price control and free market economy. We will see on some hadiths after that. Fifth one, and quality control. The 6th one, calibration, full competition, and market audit. You will see all in details. What's the 8 things again? How we can classify these 8 specifications in the Medina market? Tax-free, nobody get a fixed both, effective price control, free competition, quality control, calibration, no deceptive advertising, and prevention of trade of haram goods. You will see one by one. Tax-free market. For example, we'll see in hadith from the, I think, Sunan ibn Majah. The messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam went to the market of Nabit and looked, and it said, this is not a market of you. Market of Nabit was a Jewish market, I think. Then we went another market and looked, and it says, this is not a market of you. Then we came back to this market and walked around. It says, this is your market. It will be always your market, and no duty, no tax will be laid on it. As I told you, if you don't take taxes and high taxes from the market, you will not interfere the prices. The prices will be freely. That's why the first issue for the Medina Bazaar, tax-free market, and the second one, nobody gets a fixed slot or booth place. And Semhudi Vefa, you will see the book. This is your market. Don't take permanent and fixed corners, places here, and no taxes will be charged here. My friends, you will see two pictures right on the presentation. I want to say this bottom picture. Sorry. Yes. This picture, you will see this is a Chicago Board of Trade, one of the biggest exchange of the world. They are dealing with agricultural trade. Chicago Board of Trade established in the United States in 1848. I have been visited Chicago, I think in 2000s, and at the start of 2000, I see Chicago Board of Trade because I was making an investigation about exchanges. There are some slots and some places you see. They are making open auction in the exchange. If you have the first seat, this one, if you have the first seat, you can give the first price to the commodity or the asset. In the market and the behavioral finance and the physical, psychological manner, if you give the first price to the good, the seller will be anchor the first price. After then, the other price will be lost. So taking the first place is very important. In Chicago, on the other neoclassic economic and the neoclassic countries, I can say, they are selling the first places with high amount of money. For example, the second picture you will see from here. This is a exchange of Konya commodity exchange where I was working there in 2005 and 2015. I was working there. You have seats here. You will see the seats. If you take the first seat anytime, you can give the first price. It's very important. And what did Prophet Muhammad make in this Medina market? He says, no take permanent and fixed corners. Whoever comes to the market early, he can take the first and the good seat. So you can be serious in your trade. You can wake up early. You can ready for your trade. You can ready your place and your slot, everything. It's very important for the second one. What about the third one? Effective price control. For example, it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone who sets the price, gives the poverty and abundance, and provides sustenance. I don't want to meet my Lord, even though he asked me for his ear to an injustice that I have done for the property and life of any of you. One Sahabe comes to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he says, as I told you, the price is increasing very high. Please make something and interfere the prices and make them decrease. Prophet Muhammad says, it is Allah alone who sets the prices. It's giving the free market economic feel. For example, theological one, there's an invisible hand in the neoclassic economy. They say it's an invisible hand, but when we look at the economic theology, maybe this hand will be the hand of the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A free competition environment, the fourth one is very important, still very important, because in this modern ages, free competition and free market economy is really important. But how did Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam establish this free competition environment? He makes controls on the bazaars. He make control on the market. He make control on the prices, not interfere the prices, but control the prices. If they are making some cheating or devising and decepting the buyers and sellers, he interfere with the manner of his pay. You will see. Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased upon him, reported that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam don't count meet the readers in trade caravan. Talaqi ruhban. Don't go out to meet the readers. Don't urge buyers to cancel a sale transaction to make a new one with you. Don't bid against each other to fool another bidder. A townsman must not buy on behalf of a Bedouin villager, you say. And don't tie up the others of camels and sheep. However, if someone buys them while in this condition and has already milked them, then he has two options. If he is pleased with them, he may keep them. If he is pleased with them, he may return it along with a saw of dates or wheat. What we can understand from this hadith? For example, my friends, I was working in a commodity exchange, as I told you, 2005 and 2015. What's commodity exchange? Do agricultural commodity trades. For example, one of you is a producer of maybe wheat, barley, or oil, soybean from your country, we can say, or aspir, something, soybean, we say. You are producing soybeans, but you are not informative about the prices of the market. You have to sell, but you don't know the market. And I am the trader. I'm coming to your village. I'm saying, okay, give this all your product to me for an lower price or whatever price I'm bidding you, and I am taking all your goods. After I pay you, you will see that the market is more higher than you sell. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam try to fix this problem. No, he says, a townsman must not buy on behalf of Bedouin and not tie up the others of, I'm sorry, don't go out meet the readers, don't urge buyers to cancel sales trends. So free market competition environment is very important for the Medina bazaar issue. What about the fifth one, quality control? For example, you see wheat here. When Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam dipped his hand into the wheat sack and felt wetness on the underside of the sack, who deceive us is not from us, he says. You know, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam always controlled the market, and he turned out all the sellers, what are they selling, what are they making, what are the quality, and he controls the sacks of the wheat. If there's a problem, he says, who deceives us is not from us. And other hadith, musarrah hadith, whoever buys the musarrah, he has the choice for 3 days. If he returns it, and he must also give a south base or not summer, meaning wheat. So quality control during the sale or buying options is very important. The sixth one, the calibration issue. For example, modern economic sites, and we have some standardization issues, but during the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, weight is the weight of Mecca, the people of Mecca, and the standard, the measure is the measure of the Medina. If you make an cheating or deceiving somebody or cheating somebody by scaling your good and product, it is also forbidden or banned. The seventh one, no deceptive advertising, perjury. This says perjury prohibited. We can say in our modern times, we are making lots of advertisement, and these advertisements generally making deceptive. We are taking some good from internet or other advertisement issues, television or the other things. They are telling lots of things about this good, but whenever you buy, you see nothing inside. So perjury is prohibited. And what Prophet Muhammad says, also give advice to merchants by answering the questions to Putin. One day, during the inspections, he said to the brokers who mediated the trade, all company merchants, unprofitable speech and swearing takes place in your business dealings. So mix it with sadaqah. As you say, when we are making trade, when we are making a conversation, when we are making a negotiation with a bidding or the other things, we are doing swearing, lots of things and perjury things. Prophet Muhammad says it brings very dealings, it's unprofitable things, so mix it sadaqah. Among the most serious or major sins of attributing a partner of God, unfilial behavior and deliberative perjury. If anyone swears on oath which he is compelled to take and introduce into it as much falsehood as a grand swing, a spot will be put in his heart till the day of resurrection. Friends, while we are making some trades, lots of swearing, lots of deceptive advertising they are making, but this decreases the barakah of our trade. So Prophet Muhammad advises giving more sadaqah, giving less speech, less swearing in our trades. And the eighth one, as you know, prevention of the trade of haram goods. I heard Allah Messenger in the year of conquest of Mecca saying, Allah and his apostle made illegal trade of alcohol, dead animals, pigs, and idols. O Allah Messenger, what about the fat of dead animals? For it was used for greasing the boats and hires that people use for lights. He says, no, it's illegal. Allah's Messenger, may Allah curse the Jews, for Allah made fat animals illegal for them. Yet they melted the fat and sold it and ate its price. So, prevention of haram goods is also take place in hadith. So, my friends, ladies and gentlemen, the last 3 or 4 slides for this issue, but very important issue, how they can inspect this Medina market and the other bazaars and the other institutions of Islamic side. There was an institution named Hisbe. As you see, there is a name of Hisbe. Hisbe is very important. Also, we can say Hisbe as the father of Sharia governance. Now, you know, we have lots of Sharia committees, Sharia councils, Sharia boards. They are making some regulations, some amendments, some new regulations around the Islamic financial things. But the father of these all institutions was Hisbe. What is Hisbe? Hisbe comes from the word ihtisab, which means reward, good, and measure in Arabic. In many verses of Quran, Muslims are commanded to enjoin good and forbid evil. Emri bil ma'ruf, nehi anil munkar. Telling the good and faith things for maslaha, emri bil ma'ruf, doing the good things, nehi anil munkar, prohibiting the bad things, bad habits, bad things. This is the role of Muslim. Then Hisbe brings Emr bil Ma'ruf and Nehi Anil Munkar issue inside of the bazaars, and they are controlling the issue. What is Hisbe? We have 3 aspects of Hisbe: the Allah's rights, servants' rights, and two-way rights. What are these? For the protection of Allah's rights, the conduct of prayers of the maintenance of mosques, abolition of bid'ahs in worship, it includes religious issues such as protection from haram. These are the Allah's rights. We can enhance it, but I'm taking short and brief issues for here. The protection of the rights of the servant, road, water, mosque, defense, treatment, market, measuring scales, and trade, it's relevant. They are always controlling the markets with keeping servants' rights. And the third group is such as orphan, widow rights, animal rights, lighting, and cleaning the roads. My friends, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, after then Khulafa Rashidin, Hazrat Abu Bakr, Hazrat Umar, Hazrat Osman, and Hazrat Ali, and the other Khulafa and the other Emir al-Mu'minin also made these investigations and inspections in the markets under the name of Hisbe. And Hisbe, as an institution, has been broadened and has been regulated during the time of Hazrat Umar ibn Khattab. And also, I advise you, all economic students and all Islamic economics and finance students, please care about Hisbe institution, what is Hisbe, and what we can do for Sharia governance. If you want to understand Sharia and governance of Sharia and the way of Sharia inspection, resolution, controlling, detective, these issues, it's very important. So you have to learn and study about Hisbe issues. By the way, my speech and my presentation like this, Dr. Dimas, if we have some questions, I can try to answer these questions. Thank you very much for participating. But after this Q&A session, I will show a small video about our Indonesian friends, what they did here. It will be very enjoyable, I think. I will waiting that. But first, question and answer session, maybe, please.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Jazakallah khairan kathiran, Doctor, for your very insightful presentations. Indeed, the presentation given by Dr. Hussein is so complete and comprehensive. If I may summarize just a bit, he started from the idea of the knowledge. the knowledge is not free low. It's not free, but it's not fairly free. It's not value loaded. Yeah. I just remember when I was taking PhD at the IAUM, Professor Aslam always reminded us at the moment, doctors, that the knowledge that we got actually is not the knowledge that free from the ideology. This ideology has been going through the knowledge or science that we are learning as time goes by. So I just remember what you said before, that there is no any integrations in the secular in the modern knowledge. We may say that there is any secularizations, yeah, in the context of the modern science. Therefore, the Islamization of knowledge come up since the 80s, in order to bring back the idea of the knowledge must be in line with the Islamic um, how the difference between the Madinah era and the Mecca era, whereby in the Mecca era, the concern was to the political aspects. Differently in the Medina era, the Prophet tried to govern and manage the economics one. Yeah, therefore, coming out at the moment, try to regulate and protect, and also want to control any imbalances or unfair transaction in the markets. And in the end of the day, Dr. Hussein also emphasized the idea that the market must be free from interventions. But we have to put into context, doctor, whereby in the era of prophets, the moral is so great at the moment. Yeah.
Yes.
So without any intervention, then the moral has been so excellent. So the people understood what should be doing in the moment. But right now, I guess that the system was so, yeah, the system is that, and then the moral is not that. So we need to understand another approaches. And last but not least, Dr. Hussein also stressed the rule of al-hisbah, yeah, in the context of markets. This institution was so important in order to ensure that the transactions is not far away from the principles of the money, from the welfare, yeah, so that everybody can get equal access to the markets. So at the end of the day, the market can bring back the welfare or the prosperity to the people that are transacting into that. And the last but not least, that's all the thing that I can summarize a bit, yeah, very comprehensive. But doctors, before I put the question to the floor, I'd like to get your humble insight, doctor, in terms of uh, the virtual market, that we are now happening right now, the marketplace that using the application and others. Yeah. So the question is how to put the moral into the virtual markets. Yeah. So that the transactions that going on is not far away from the Sharia principles or Sharia compliant, I may say like that, because in the virtual market, we are so difficult to control any fake transaction, default transactions, and maybe unfair transactions. So before I put to the floor, doctor, because we want to put this presentation into the context of the contemporary activities, isn't it? Doctor, please get you. I want to get your humble insight, doctor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Dimas. It's very important when we are looking for I think there is a problem of the moral side of our worldview and vision. Because if we are taking the same model of the capital or neoclassic mainstream one, we are trying to make it clear and purificate. But if we start from the beginning, for example, I want a metaphor for this. We have trees. We are planting the tree. The tree was taking roots from capitalism, and we are taking one branch of this tree and trying to engage the Islamic moral economic one. It's not very useful. So we have to start from the beginning. We have to start and have to establish these markets. For example, blockchain issue and metaverse issue and the most common technological issues, the Muslims and Islamic economics and finance institutions and our lecturers, students, and friends have to tackle very much. We have opportunities to fractal defaults and debts with new technologies. I think for the markets and fruitful markets and fictive markets and new markets, emerging markets, we have to deal with technological issues for the moral side. For example, I heard an example for this. For 5 years before we have established, not five, I'm sorry, 10 years before we have established a new platform, a platform of buying and selling, and we take some rules, bring from Medina market, and says no one can make these trades instead of these rules. If we are copying the same markets, we have problems like this, and it's not very easy to solve. But we have to establish new and more technologic and more dependable markets with our moral rules and our roots and our vision and our value. It's not very easy, doctor. You know, we are making lots of research about these markets, how we can solve these problems of defaults and other riba. We are all complex. We take each other with the interest, riba, faiz, and the other things together. If we try to solve this in Islamic manner, it's not very easy. We have to make a new site here. We have to plant a new tree, which is roots come from our history, culture, and religion, and the other things. So it's very difficult question to solve this problem. I know, but the way is getting more technology inside of Islamic financial issues, more comprehensive methods, and not copying the others, just taking the good examples from the side and making new markets and new technological areas, I think. So I advise our friends a new topic. They have to keep on and they have to learn blockchain issues and metaverse issues because the coming future is more technological. And Islamic finance and Islamic economies need this technology more than the others, I think. A short
Okay.
answer like this, Dr. Dimas.
Yes, please, doctor. Continue, doctor. Carry on, doctor, please.
Okay. So maybe we can make our offline seasons about some new developments on blockchain and financial technologies. I'm really keen on these issues because as from your question, if you have problems about the debts, about defaults, about interest-based securities, assets, for example, for the scoops and the other issues, we have to take new way to establish a new way to export these ones. It's not very easy, but we have lots of road to go together. So I think it's very important, Dr. Dimas. So I want to thank you again because we had a good cooperation between your university and our university. If we make this collaboration higher and we make some research proposal together, we take some investigation together, for example, the Indonesian side, the Malaysian side, the Pakistan side, Nigerian side, Turkish side, we have to develop all these aspects together, then we will succeed to develop and establish a new model. But the other way, it's not very easy to handle this way. So this cooperation and also these exchange programs, now we are making this offline, but hopefully online, but we will make it offline soon. We will see that experiences from the countries, experiences from the experts, experiences from the worldview, we will share and increase this area soon better, inshallah.
Okay, doctor. Thank you so much for enlightening answer. So I do agree with you. We have to do some research and we have to deeply understand about the ethical issues here, the ethical issues for the human behavior, yeah, in the current situations, whereby right now the system and the human being are the issues pertaining to the ethics. Even though we have so many advanced technology, but without any human ethics now. So the problem will become worse. And others also, the human is so ethical, but the system is not that good. Somehow we can be trapped into a very worse situation. So I guess the system and the ethics must be get in line. Okay, here, doctors, we have some questions, I guess, from the chat box. Uh, Ridwan, are you still with us, Ridwan?
Ya, Pak.
Ridwan? Yes.
Ya.
Can you please ask directly to Dr. Hussein pertaining your question, please?
Ya.
You just read the question that you put in the chat box, please, Ridwan.
Ya.
I think I couldn't
Ridwan?
see the chat box. Okay.
In personal chat, Pak Dimas.
Okay.
Yeah, Ridwan, can you Hussein?
Oke, ini langsung aja, Pak. In current era finance technology, there are a bit misuse by some individual about online loan that are not Pak, ini in the current era financial technology, there is a bit misuse by some individual about online loans that are not in accordance with Islam Sharia. With tortures borrows, can Islam can make a kind but not total the borrow. Thank you.
Okay.
I guess. Can you understand the question, doctor?
I think I understand.
Okay,
but
please go ahead then.
But we will see it together if I understand, because it's very interesting. Ridwan, thank you very much. I think the question is come from Ridwan. Ridwan, thank you very much. It's a good question because we are taking current technology is very high. So some misuse by the parties. For example, I have some cases like this. Somebody has bought from internet buying or online shopping, but they are taking lots of different things, or they are cheating each other, some torture. The problem, I think, Dr. Dimas, I'm not sure if you agree with me, but it's a general issue. The problem is about the moral and ethic values. Because why I thought from my beginning of the presentation, Tawheed issue is one of the best way to understand. If you believe, is there a problem? Does everybody can hear me, or I am talking by myself?
Yes, please, doctor, carry on. We can hear you.
Okay. I just see my face is stopped. That's why I asked, sorry. It's technology issues because lack of ethic, lack of moral ones. If we start to study from ourselves, our families, our friends, our universities, we have to start a new revolution of ethics. If we are not dealing with the moral values, it's not very easy to take these problems. In technology, online loans. For example, I see that Dr. Dimas in the problem of cryptocurrencies still, or exchange, or the asset-based exchange problems. Somebody's are coming and they are advising in some advertorials, and they take, if you are giving $100, you will take $500 in two ways. If we take the men's greed from the first hand and try to stop this greed from the beginning during our primary schools, primary education, before primary family educations, first thing is, I think, education. As we see from the Medina bazaar example, the first thing was the masjid and tawhid issue. The second one is accommodation and hifz al-nafs, and the third one is education. We have to educate each other, and we have to keep in mind that men's greed is not the way, ambitiousness is not the way of getting rich. Muslims have to be rich, but not in the heart, just in the pocket. I'm saying like this to my students. If you are in the pocket, you can give lots to others. If you are in the hurt, if you believe the money, if you take the money inside of you, you can take in tortures in online sites or the other sites. So keep the money in your pockets. If I understand like this, but Dr. Dimas, if you want to add something, it will be
Yes,
honey
yes,
fine.
I do agree exactly with Dr. Hussein that the fintech right now is going to be bad or good. It depends on the way how we wisely use this product, this technology. Yeah, because otherwise, even though the regulation has been so tight, so good, without any ethical background of the people that using that, I guess we will make any wrong way on that. And I do agree that with what you said just now, we have to go back to the educations, how we educate the young men, young millennials, including myself perhaps, how to make the technology become useful, but wisely also bring to the society back, not only just for the sake of the individual or only for ourselves or self-interest. Yeah. So
Yes.
back on that, I do agree with you, Dr. Hussein. We have to remove the secularizations of the knowledge or of the education that we are facing right now. So we have to go back to the idea of Islamization, integrations, all the knowledge of the Sahaba and from the traditional traditions to be in line with our current study. Therefore, we are so eager and glad to have collaboration with your department, doctors. So by that, we can come up with the new models, how we have new friends that have the same ideas, the same spirit and the same thoughts, so that this spirit become more great and then easy to be implemented in the respective country.
Inshallah.
Okay, any other questions, sisters and brothers here? Or maybe, doctor, you want to put some videos you said before?
Yes, yes, yes. I want to show you a video because
Yes, please, please, please.
I think we are making this program under the collaboration of International Program for Islamic Economics and Finance, IPIAEF, your institution,
Yes.
I think this one. And this year we take 10 of students from Indonesia and UMI. And we are very happy and lucky that we are taking these students because they are very keen on the issues, very topics, and we make some social programs with them. Also, we take the culture of Turkey, what we are doing, and we've taken a trip to Cappadocia together with our friends. And our friends brings a video for us. I'll try to show this video to you. I'm sorry, where like this. Can you see my drive now?
Yes, please, doctor. You can start the
Yes, I'm
video.
starting.
Wow. But I cannot hear the voice, doctor. The sound.
I stopped the sound.
Okay then. Echo then. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Yes. So how far, doctors, are from Konya to Cappadocia, doctor?
It's nearly 3 hours. We take 3 hours trip by our bus. We rent a bus together. It takes 3 hours. We were there at 7 o'clock in the morning. We just watched how the sun shining together. We take our breakfast together. This is the Pigeon Valley, and this is our breakfast. We take together with our friends. You know, we have 10 friends from Indonesia and 10 friends from Turkey. We mix them. They have a body system in our university. All our friends has a body in here. One Indonesian, one Turkish. This is the Cappadocia.
Oh, very beautiful. Yeah.
very beautiful. We take pictures, lots of time.
So
We
what the
take
main attraction, doctor, from this place? What the main attractions of this place?
the main attraction. This is an ancient city, because there was lots of
Mm.
monasteries and the ancient monasteries. You see, these ones are the monasteries and the churches of the first inhabitants of the Anatolia. And all these were
Mm.
ecological, not man-made things. These fairy tales. These are all not man-made, natural things. These are in Tanya, Dimas, our friends, our Indonesian friends. And these are pictures from our side, camels. And you will see they are making ceramic, doctor. You will see. We just take the blue umbrella together. This is our guide, tour guide. We have a tour guide, and this is
Yeah.
very interesting. They are making ceramic here, and one of our friends, Mr.
Mm.
Demas, I thought, Mr. Demas comes inside and
Mm.
he makes ceramic by his hands.
Yeah, yeah. So how many hours they are staying here, doctor? How many
Uh,
hours
we
you stay at
we just
this
get,
place?
and for at 7 o'clock in the morning we leave at 5 o'clock, 5 p.m. It takes 10 hours. We'll
Mm.
stay at the city 10 hours and
Oh,
we will see everywhere. We make lots of
yeah, yeah.
it was a very nice trip, Dr. Dimas. Next time when you come to Konya, we'll make this together, I think, with your family also.
Yes, yes, yes. You too here, doctor. Waiting forward to Yogyakarta with your kamu lah, and also
Inshallah.
your daughter, your son, your family.
Inshallah, together with family.
Uh,
These are very traditional ceramics, and we are taking lunch together with an
yeah,
open
yeah.
buffet restaurant. It was very nice.
Mm. How many temperatures, doctors, at the moment? Below the 20 Celsius?
Now it is -5 now.
Mm.
It's really cold. It's getting colder now. It's minus
Oh,
five.
how many the temperatures, doctor? Nearby zero?
This is nearby. Now, are you asking for now or for the trip of Cappadocia?
Yeah, yeah. During the trip, during the trip.
During the trip, it was nearly 15 or 20. It was nice. It was not very cold, but some
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
windy.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But now it's getting
Yeah,
cold.
just yeah. Look like in Indonesia, we have around 23, 24. Yeah, yeah.
Now you say we started from sun shining and we finished at sunset. We spent all day together.
Wow. So, oh, so many
Guys,
students shopping at the moment.
and I am inviting the other students. Hopefully,
Yeah.
we can go on our collaboration like this, because doctor, we have invited our Indonesian friends to our home, and the others here we take Indonesian cuisine. For example, nasi goreng kampung. I have eat. Our friends made, and we eat something like this. We make together sushis and we make together some cultural issues, and also we discuss about Islamic finance in these programs. It's very important, and hopefully we'll go on this collaboration together. I'm very thank you for your personal, because you are driving this thing, and I have to
Yeah.
thank you for my department, for my university. I am thanking you, and also I am thanking for all friends to get today that are listening me. If they have any questions, more questions, or other questions, they can email me or text me, because it's very important to take connect with your friends and students. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay. Was welcome, Dr. Hussein, my colleague, my friend from Turkey. Dear sisters and brothers, we are so blessed to have Dr. Hussein right now. He is so humble, sharing his thought and sharing his experience, knowledge about Islamic finance, Islamic economics, and Islamic thought. Yeah, and we see that he is so concerned and committed, yeah, for developing of Islamic finance. So hopefully one day we'll get you physically doctors in Indonesia, in particular Yogyakarta, is the center of Java, yeah, in the Java Islands, yeah. So we get in touch closely, and then we can discuss so many things, and hopefully we can increase the level of collaboration to the level and which we can collaborate in terms of collaboration and joint research and publications.
inshallah.
I guess we are closer to the Maghrib prayer here, doctors. If you please, you may share your slide, doctor, to us. So maybe we can share to the student here, so they can reread and digest again the discussion that you have given. So, doctor, before
Inshallah.
we end the sessions, would you please to give us the closing remark, doctors? Because here all the students attending the sessions, mostly the undergraduate students, perhaps you can give them some speech in terms of motivation or inspiration or whatever that can make them maybe more positive and energetic, yeah, in facing the future works, doctor. Please, doctor.
Okay, thank you very much for as closing remarks. I want to say it again because Dr. Dimas, all Muslims, all our students, all our university students have to work for what? It's very important. We are here in the world for being an Khalifa, for an Abdullah. So whatever we are doing, we have to do for the Allah's sakes. The other thing you have to take, you, inshallah, hopefully you will be more rich. You will take and succeed in your country. You will succeed in your universal time and global ones. But don't forget to take together networks together because it's very important. Once a day, in my course and my lecture, I told the Indonesian and Turkish friends together, you will be, for example, director of a bank, you will be the minister of finance with the other, and you will say, I have a friend from Turkey, I have a friend from Indonesia, I have a friend from Nigeria, because being an ummah, being a good and big society gets from taking networks. University can bring lots of things. We can tell you lots of theories, but you can Google it. But you cannot find the experience which we live. So you have to discuss, you have to connect, you have to connect and take good networks together. And university students have to investigate and research more. Try to make collaborative researches between countries, and not just for your country, also Indonesia. For example, Indonesia is most highly going in Islamic finance. It's a very good example for us. We have Malaysia, Indonesia, Turkey, but we have different sects, and so we have different views. We have to understand each other because we are just playing in the same religion. We are in the same way. We are in the same path. If we take interaction together, we will be more succeed all over the world. So try to keep connect with your Turkish, Nigerian, Pakistani, Indian, and other countries and other inhabitant friends. Try to do and reach your culture and reach your vision and read the books and read the articles very carefully. And don't hesitate to ask in any professor and doctor, and we are ready to uh, establish good researches and proposals together. Hopefully, you will succeed your universities, you will succeed your courses, you will succeed your exams. As I tell Dr. Dimas, students are always taking care about the points. I give an example and the last example. Uh, for example, think about we have engines, we have vehicles. Here is a vehicle and how we can drive it with oil. Oil of the vehicle is money of economy because the important thing is the vehicle, not the oil. The important thing of the economy, not the money. And the third one, I'm adding that the important thing is the worldview and the vision, not the point you get from the exams. Keep in mind, don't study harder, study good, study smarter, but take rest and give an advice from your professors and others. Inshallah, hopefully you will succeed everything. Thank you very much.
MashaAllah. Thank you so much, Dr. Hussein, for your wise words. Yeah, and this is indeed the thing that we are needing right now. The student must be not have the orientations to the marks or score, but the student must go into the knowledge or sciences. So if the students run to or eager to get good marks, but leaving behind the knowledge, so for sure then the mark is not that expected. Yeah, but if we go for knowledge or science, inshallah the mark will be there. Okay, doctors, I guess we are close to the Maghrib prayer in Indonesia right now. Thank you very much for your very insightful and your very inspired thought today. And the students, hopefully you can get some knowledge, experience, and also advice and networks to Dr. Hussein. Yeah, I will give you the emails of Dr. Hussein. Perhaps you'd like to to engage with him personally through the emails concerning the subject or maybe experience, or maybe you want to go for a master degree or PhD degree in Turkey. Yeah.
Inshallah.
With that, Dr. Hussein, let me close this session by reciting Hamdalah together. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Thank you very much, Doctor. Stay safe and healthy, Doctor. And please send our warm regards to Dr. Kamula and also all the students, our students there, the 10 students. Send our regards. And also we have also here one mother of our student, Ibu Sahri Mega. Ibu. So Ibu Sahri here, doctors, is one of the parents of our students that also attended this meeting. Want to know you?
Whose mother? Whose parents?
Whose mother? Parents. Bu Sahri. Bu Sahri? Hello? Oh, okay. Okay. Orang tua siapa Bu Sahri? Di-on-kan dulu, Bu.
Fadia Nur Aziza Safitri.
Oh, Fadia. Sister Fadia.
Fadia. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fadia is one of...
Alhamdulillah, barakallah.
Yeah.
Okay, don't worry. I'll give you a special salam from your side to Fadia. I'll call her. She's one of our best students. Thank you very much. And your students, all of 10 of our students are very good and very well donated from their families. Thank you very much, Mother.
Thank you very much.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, with that, thank you so much, Doctor. I end discussion. See you again, Doctor. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.